back to It's All About Him. As we continue the relationship series, today's topic is called Let's Travel Together. So what I've been noticing is that, yes, I know of those who aren't saved, traveling together, things like that. But as it pertains to saved couples, I see that a lot of folks who are unmarried are traveling together these days. So what I will say to that is that I believe that there are two ways that you can travel together as Christians and you're in a relationship. And one is if you're traveling with a group. And the second thing is if you're traveling to meet each other's families. And what I'll say before even going into traveling together, you have to set realistic boundaries. If you're not willing to set realistic boundaries and your aim and your goal is to maintain your purity, by not setting those boundaries, then you're setting up yourself a failure. You cannot say, oh, we're going to be pure, we're going to be this, and you don't have certain things in place to ensure that you guys won't cross any lines. Be real with yourself. Like, this flesh is real. Somebody kind of touch you the right way, you're like, ooh, how you doing? Listen, and it's summertime, help Jesus. Like, be real. And you want to tell me that this is a person that you love and you ain't going to want to try to jump them? Hello. I'm just saying, like, let's be real. So I'll say the boundaries that would need to be set, you have to set clear boundaries. If one party isn't willing to say, I'm going to stick to this thing, either you're not willing to stick to it or that person isn't willing to stick to it, I would say not to ever travel together, because you guys are going to fall more than likely. It's just a fact. But in traveling together, you should always have separate rooms. I know people are like, oh, let's save money. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. The Bible says to flee the very appearance of evil. You can end up saying, oh, but we ain't doing nothing. We sleeping in separate beds. Or some of you will be bold enough to talk about we sleep in the same bed, but we ain't having sex. I know the Lord can see you through and everything like that. But being that the Bible says flee the very appearance, no matter what you say, that can mess up your testimony. Because somebody seeing you coming out of the room with your boo and you talking about I'm saved and love the Lord, nobody is going to really respect you. So let's be real. You want to make sure that your testimony stays intact. So being that if you're looking to have your testimony stay intact, there are certain things I believe you should do as it concerns visiting, whether family or being with groups. Try to do a lot of group activities. Try not to have too much alone time together. Because in doing so, again, we're talking about this flesh. This flesh cannot be trusted. People can talk about self-control, but that's why you always get jacked. Because truth be told, we're like, oh, I'm in control. Then the next minute you're like, oops, how did I get here? Because you trusted yourself too much. That's what happened. So I'll say try to limit the amount of alone time you have together. Try to limit the amount of physical touch you have together. You guys make, because again, you're off in a faraway land. You're not around your circle that, those people who kind of can back you up. So with you being in a faraway land, you're seeing the world with your significant other. Do you really think that, oh, him touching me, showing a lot of physical, having a lot of physical interactions with each other, that it's not going to cause me to want to maybe do something extra? Like, be real with yourself. And also you want to enjoy yourself. So you don't want the whole time you're like, dag, I really want to jump him right now. Dag, I really want to jump her right now. Like, you want to be able to enjoy yourself. So I'll say to try and do that. And the next thing, try to avoid going into each other's rooms, especially by yourselves. Because again, all these things are things to protect you from not crossing that line and falling. It may seem extreme, but I'll say, what are you willing to do to protect your purity? What are you willing to do to protect their purity? That's what it's about. It may seem like it's restrictive and things like that, but again, if the goal is to please God and the goal is to look out for the person who you claim that you love, then you won't do whatever just because you're like, oh, what's the big deal? It's like, no, you should love somebody enough not to cross the line. You should love somebody enough to say, you know what, I'm not strong enough, so I don't think I could go on this trip. Be honest. Or say, you know what, I know I ain't strong enough. I can't be in the room with you for a second. So be honest. So I pray that this blessed you. And again, for those who are going to travel, have fun. But again, make sure to set those boundaries. And for those who know that, you know what, you can travel together, it's okay. You're being honest with yourself. And the best thing you could do is be honest with yourself and the person to whom you love. So thanks for watching, and God bless you.